Do people think wok-hay, breath of the wok, is only tied to a high-powered gas burner? Today, through this dish, stir-fried beef with cilantro, we'll see how to achieve rich wok-hay even with a low flame at home. Alright, today we're making stir-fried beef with cilantro. The main ingredients are beef, cilantro, minced garlic, and small chili peppers. I also added a bit of pickled chili beef for extra flavor. If you want the beef to stay tender, the most important factor is the cut of meat, followed by heat control and slicing technique. Marinating is just a finishing touch. It's not the key factor that determines tenderness. For example, if you use certain cuts like chuck or tenderloin alternatives, no matter how you cook them, they won't become very tender. On the other hand, if you use a more suitable cut like beef strip loin or flank, and you use techniques like egg white, starch, oil, or even a little baking soda, it can still turn out tough or very tender depending on how it's handled. Personally, I'm not a big fan of using baking soda. If you use even slightly too much, the texture becomes overly soft, almost melt in the mouth in a way that feels artificial, giving a very industrial taste. So for marinating the beef, we simply use light soy sauce for color, oyster sauce for a light base flavor. Mix well, then add a small amount of starch and mix again. Finally, add a little oil to lock in moisture and mix thoroughly. As you can see, the beef is now simply but properly marinated. Next, cut the cilantro into sections, separating the stems from the leaves. Then prepare the pickled chili. For the small chilies you buy, you can even add a bit of the pickling liquid into the minced garlic. That's a useful cooking trick. We don't need too many chilies, just a few, then chop them finely. Alright, now we start cooking. First, heat the wok thoroughly. Many beginners don't understand wok-hay. They think it depends on oil temperature or ingredients. But the most important thing is actually the wok itself being hot. You need to heat it until it starts to slightly smoke. Only then is the temperature right. Add oil. For this dish, we want a clean finish, so we cook the beef and vegetables separately. First, quickly blanch/sear the beef over high heat. As you can see, once the beef loses most of its redness, you can turn off the heat and remove it. Use a strainer to drain it. This removes impurities from the wok, which keeps the final dish clean and clear. Clean the wok and heat it again until smoking hot, then add oil. Heat the oil slightly more, then add minced garlic, chili, and pickled chili. Stir fry until fragrant. Add the beef back in, and season immediately with oyster sauce and soy sauce in similar amounts, plus about 1.5–2 g of MSG. Turn to maximum heat, and quickly toss everything to combine. Once the beef is in, you don't need to cook it for long. Just mix everything evenly. Because we used pickled chili earlier, we can add a small splash of vinegar for extra brightness. Add the cilantro stems, then turn off the heat. And that's it. Simple stir-fried beef with cilantro is done. Let's plate it up. Tonight we're making a relatively uncommon pork rib dish, an upgraded version of raw stir-fried ribs. We're making Sichuan peppercorn fragrant ribs, jiao ma pai gu. Alright, let's get started. Actually, this dish is essentially a variation of raw stir-fried ribs or spicy stir-fried ribs, just different naming styles. The key point is, for this kind of semi-raw stir-fry method, the choice of ribs matters a lot. First, try to use pork spare ribs. Second, chop them into smaller pieces. Large chunks like this won't cook through with stir-frying alone. They're only suitable for braising. The supporting ingredients are simple: ginger, garlic, red and green long chilies, fresh green Sichuan peppercorns, and cilantro. Cut the cilantro into sections. Ginger only needs a few slices. Slice the chilies diagonally. Garlic cloves can stay whole. If you want a nicer presentation, trim the ends slightly. The fresh green Sichuan peppercorns can just be left as they are. Now, as always, heat the wok until it smokes, then add oil. You can use a bit more oil for this dish. Add the ginger slices first and fry until fragrant and slightly brown. Once the ginger is aromatic, add the ribs. Then reduce to low heat. Medium-low heat is ideal for home cooking. Since this is a semi-raw stir-fry method and we're not deep frying, the ribs need to be slowly cooked through. Think of it as half frying, half sautéing. Every 20 seconds or so, give it a stir and flip. Add a bit of salt while frying so the ribs have flavor inside. Don't worry about the myth that early salting makes meat tough. It's not a real issue here. Keep stir-frying until the ribs deepen into a rich brown color. At this stage, add a small amount of aromatics. But note, These spices are not meant to remain in the final dish. We're only extracting their fragrance. Use a smaller than usual amount because the flavor will intensify over long cooking. Dried chili, enough to build heat, 1 star anise, and a small piece of cinnamon. Continue frying on low heat, stirring more frequently now, every 4 to 6 seconds. You want the ribs to reach a deep, almost mahogany brown color. At this point, turn off the heat. If you want a very dry, jerky-like version, you can remove the spices and take the ribs out directly. If you prefer a slightly moist texture, splash in a bit of cooking wine, then add a small amount of water and let it reduce again. Season lightly with MSG, sugar, and oyster sauce to balance the flavor. Once the liquid has fully reduced and only oil remains, turn off the heat. Remove and discard the spices for a cleaner final look. Now check the ribs. They're nicely developed in color and aroma. At this stage, if you don't care about keeping the dish very clean looking, you can reuse the same wok. But if you want a cleaner presentation, it's better to wash the wok and start again, since the previous step leaves behind bone bits and residue. Reheat the wok until smoking hot again, add oil, then add garlic, red and green chilies, and Sichuan peppercorns. Add a bit of salt while stir-frying the chilies. Don't overcook the chilies. Keep their color and texture vibrant. Add the ribs back in, reduce heat slightly, and finish seasoning. Since the ribs and chilies already have base flavor, just a small amount of light soy sauce or fish sauce-style seasoning is enough. Stir quickly over low heat until everything is evenly coated, then turn off the heat. Add cilantro, toss once more, and it's done. Let's plate it up. Perfect. This is a proper Northeastern Dongbei Gobera Gobal Ro master-level homestyle tutorial translated into natural English. This is a super authentic Northeastern Chinese Gobera, crispy, sweet, and sour, full beginner-friendly masterclass. Oh man, look at that color and aroma. Seriously, if I went out to sell this at a stall, everyone would be learning from it. If you're craving that real Northeastern flavor, this is it. We use tenderloin for Gobera. This piece is a bit too large, so we'll cut it in half and slice it into pieces. Remove the connective tissue underneath as well. Slice it to about the thickness of chopsticks. Don't make it too. Once all the slices are ready, use the back of a knife to gently loosen meat fibers. Rinse the sliced pork in water twice. After rinsing, make sure to thoroughly dry it with kitchen paper. Really press out all the moisture and dry it several times. Now season the meat lightly for base flavor. Just salt and white pepper is enough. Do not add cooking wine, because the alcohol smell won't evaporate well during frying and will ruin the flavor. Next, prepare the potato starch batter. Potato starch must be soaked in water for at least an hour in advance. It should be fully settled until the water becomes clear. Only the starch remains. The sweet and sour sauce. Use white granulated sugar, about 3 spoonfuls. Use 9-degree rice vinegar, about 4 spoonfuls. The key is, vinegar should be slightly more than sugar for that sharp Northeastern balance. Add a little soy sauce for color, a tiny pinch of salt, and about 2 spoonfuls of cornstarch. Add a bit of water to make the sauce slightly thicken. This helps it cling to the meat later. Pour off water from the soaked potato starch. It will be very firm at this stage. Add the pork into the starch. First, it will feel like you can't even mix it properly. It's normal. Slowly add small amounts of water bit by bit until the batter becomes fluid, but still sticky enough to coat the meat evenly. That's when it's ready. Add a thin layer of oil into the batter as well. This helps make the fried coating extra crispy. For the aromatics, pear, shredded green onion, shredded ginger, cilantro, carrot strips, sliced garlic. That's it. Now let's check the oil temperature. If you drop batter in and it sinks, oil is too cold. If scallion shreds float immediately, oil is ready. Now start frying the pork slices. Add them one by one. Don't dump them all in at once or they will stick together. First fry about 3 minutes on medium heat. I fried them in 2 batches. Look at that, crispy and beautiful. Honestly, I already ate a few pieces. For the second fry, heat the oil until it's almost smoked. Fry for only about 20 seconds, then remove immediately. Do not fry too long or it will become hard. At home, 2 fries are enough. Some restaurants even do 3 rounds. Now reheat sweet and sour sauce. Stir it well first because it contains starch. Leave a little sauce aside, then add a bit of the frying oil into the pan until bubbling. Add the fried pork back in, then add the aromatics. Finally, pour in the remaining sweet and sour sauce. Oh wow, that sharp tangy aroma hits instantly. Exactly the signature Northeastern sour. At the very end, drizzle a little of the frying oil over everything to enhance shine and aroma.